Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. It's game week. We open with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, our beloved Dallas Cowboys, getting the opportunity to open the NFL season on Thursday night. We are all very, very excited. I'm going to go over a quick season preview. We got the Hard Knocks finale tomorrow night. We got a lot of stuff going on, and I want to jump into Dallas, Tampa, and then overall just outlook for the Cowboys season. Want to also give a quick shout out to BUSR. So BUSR is now the official sports book, the official betting partner of Fanatic Perspective. We're thrilled to be partnered up with them. Check out the link below, busr.com/fanatic. Take advantage of the NFL 100 FP promo. You'll be able to get 100% free play. Put down 100, get 100. Put down 300, get 300. It's very, very simple. Take advantage. I'm going to tell you right now, I already picked the Cowboys to cover against Tampa. I'm putting my money where my mouth is on BUSR. I was able to make some money via college football this week on BUSR, so check them out. Thank you to our sponsors. So, a lot of news this week jumping into the Cowboys. Starting with Zach Martin. He tested positive for COVID. Now we know he needs 2 negative tests to be able to play by Thursday. Jerry's saying, hey, I'm not necessarily ruling Zach out, but in my mind, I think that's probably going to be a Connor McGovern start there. So already, a little shaky there. Now the good news, Leo Collins, I believe, was a full practice today, and Terrell Basham's back on defense. So we have as healthy a crew as we've had going way back to last season. And I think at this point we're all giving season predictions. We're all concluding fantasy drafts. What's the outlook of the Dallas Cowboys? So from a season perspective, I start with Mike McCarthy. And watching Hard Knocks and watching his demeanor on the sideline, I was fortunate to be able to go to the most recent preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I do see a different energy with Mike McCarthy, and that energy just being more comfortable. We have to remember he came into a situation last year. I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but he came into a situation last year where you're coming in COVID, you're installing, you're meeting people via Zoom. You were coming off of, a year hiatus from the NFL, and I just think things got off to a rocky start in conjunction with hiring the wrong person in Mike Nolan. Let's keep it a buck here, right? So when you hire Mike Nolan and that's a colossal failure, and you have the COVID stuff, you lose both your tackles, you lose your starting quarterback, your running back's not right. The season went the way the season went. Water under the bridge at this point. The only strike I have against Mike McCarthy is the Mike Nolan situation. But overall demeanor and the way he was addressing the team on Hard Knocks and just the level of comfort I think that the Jones family has at Mike McCarthy and what he's learned from his football team, I think we should be encouraged from a coaching perspective of seeing better this year. And a big part of that is the addition of Dan Quinn as our defensive coordinator. As we all know, he had his highs and his lows with the Atlanta Falcons, but he was a hell of a defensive coordinator going back to the Seattle Seahawks and in college with the Florida Gators. So Dan Quinn being installed here, the addition of Micah Parsons in the draft, the Cowboys doing something that they rarely do, trading back and still getting a strong asset. All of these pieces starting to come together. I'm optimistic for the season. I get my tackles back. I get my quarterback back. How does that all shake out? Now, I talked about Zach Martin. La'el Collins, I expect to play on Thursday. Tyron Smith is probably as healthy as he's been in the last few years. Knock on something if you're watching this video. Because that's the big question mark there if you're talking about this offense. To me, it's health. I think when they're optimal, if they're healthy and they're able to establish that rhythm and just be sharper and cleaner with the football, because we know they scored hella points last year. We know they put up hella yards last year. The problem was early in the games, you throw a pick here, you have a fumble here. Next thing you know, the defense is behind the 8 ball, and we're doing all this stuff to catch up. A lot of haters will jump in the comments and say, hey, the Cowboys are the best garbage time team, blah, blah, blah. But I think if you go back and study the tape and seeing what this offense has done, really since Kellen Moore has really been their guy, they are a productive offense. Now they have to be better against better teams, and starting with Tampa Bay, which we'll get into here shortly. But overall, my tackles being there alone helps some of that. I think the thing I was most impressed with in terms of Dak Prescott last season wasn't all the yards and the improvement he made and the strides he made short to intermediate as well as a thrower of the football. I think it was how he navigated the pocket playing with bad tackles last year. He played, and this is before the Giants situation, his ankle got ripped to shreds. He played with Terrence Steele and Brandon Knight as his primary tackles for a good chunk of that time he played last year when we were only 2-3 under Dak Prescott, but still being able to move the football, him eliminating some of those negative plays. We saw the struggles Dak had in the pocket going back to 2017 when he lost Ezekiel Elliott and Tyron Smith. And, we all know the guy that shall not be named, Chaz Green, and the struggles he had at left tackle and the failure of the adjustments of the coaching staff. I think now with Dak understanding how to navigate those things, I think now with the tackles being there, that also boosts your run game. I don't think we'll have the same challenges. Ezekiel Elliott looking like the best shape of his life. These are all question marks, but I think they're questions that we can see answered relatively quickly, starting with the opener against Tampa. The area of success, I think the area of how we gauge success for this team comes on the defensive side of the ball. Can Dan Quinn get this team to not be the worst defense ever? Can Dan Quinn get this team to get turnovers, to get sacks, to create those, optimal situations? Can he take advantage of some of the quarterbacks that are on the Cowboys' schedule? I know we open with Tom Brady, but within the division, a Ryan Fitzpatrick, a Jalen Hurts, a Daniel Jones, to me, that's a very manageable crew to go against. We also know now we're playing 17 games. So there's some other guys on the schedule who will be facing, can you turn over a Jameis Winston when you guys play them? Can you turn over a Sam Darnold when you play them? Some of these other quarterbacks that the Cowboys will come up and face, can they take advantage of average to below average quarterback play from the opposition? Now, when you insert the man of chaos, Mr. Micah Parsons, I think that, obviously Jalen Smith is on watch, but playing next to Leighton Vander Esch, playing next to Keanu O'Neal, I think the productivity they'll get, at least from the front seven, starting to become an area of optimism for me. I think Tank Lawrence is going to be back on track, just being in a better defensive scheme, playing and getting, being helped and aided by the coaching staff to be put in more optimal pass rushing situations. It's now or never for Randy Gregory on the other side. I look at him kind of playing that Bruce Irvin type role that we saw was maximized, or Cliff Averill, if you will, under Dan Quinn in Seattle. Can we replicate that Randy Gregory? We know he has the skill set. We know he has the length as a pass rusher, the athleticism as that guy that can play on the edge and also kind of be that hybrid 3-4 type, give you those hybrid 3-4 type looks. I think the big concern that I have is those corners. I really like Baby Diggs, Trayvon Diggs. I call him Baby Diggs because I've always called him Baby Diggs. But I really like what Diggs gives me. I think he's a really high-end number 2 corner. But we're asking him to be the number 1. A lot of y'all hate Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown's going to be your nickel between him and Jordan Lewis. That second corner spot with Maurice Kennedy and Nashawn Wright and Boss Man Fat, can we get good football play out of that second corner? Because I already know, and this goes into the Tampa Bay preview, if I'm Tom Brady and I have Chris Godwin, I have Antonio Brown, because I'm assuming, they're probably going to throw Baby Diggs on Mike Evans to start, and if they want to go with a big look, you'll get Nashawn Wright. But all these people are going to be targeted heavily going into Thursday night. Can we live? Can we survive with them? Now, I've seen good situations where you look at the San Francisco 49ers 2 seasons ago where they had Richard Sherman and then some guys, just, a bunch of JAGs on the other side. They were able to get away with that because Nick Bosa and them boys were lighting up the quarterbacks in the front seven. Fred Warner was balling. They were getting great interior line play. If the Cowboys are able to get all that and Micah Parsons can give us instant impact, Osa can give us instant impact. You get something out of your rotational guys like a Dorrance Armstrong who had a good preseason. If you can get all of that, then you can help the corners survive. I don't think safety is as much a weakness as we get anxiety with corners. You know what you have with Kazee. You know what you have with Donovan Wilson. They're both good football players. Now, are they Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor? No. But I think overall, they give you some of those characteristics of what you're looking for in terms of that attack and cover 3 mentality that Dan Quinn wants to deploy out there. Now, for my season prediction, I think Dak Prescott, there's going to be some rust there. He didn't play in the preseason. We know he had a battle with the shoulder. I do think it's probably going to take him about a week or two to ramp to get back to where he is, on top of trusting the ankle. How does he respond when he gets sacked for the first time? How does he respond when he scrambles or somebody wraps up the leg? How does he look? Does he look natural? I think a lot of the practice footage and those who have been behind the scenes have been able to see him really work. He looks good. I think there's a reason, though, why he hasn't got more work or been on a pitch count. So those things, I think it's very, very difficult to just jump right in and be super, super sharp, which is very, very important why the offensive line has to be on point. Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott. Now, at the same token, you have CeeDee Lamb. You have Amari Cooper. You have Michael Gallup. You have Blake Jarwin. You have Dalton Schultz. You've got weapons. Can Kellen Moore, can Mike McCarthy, can Doug Nussmeier create an atmosphere to where these weapons are showcased? We have a balanced attack, but we're easing Dak in to where we're not asking him to be 45, 50 throws. Dak's already come out and said, I'm not trying to throw for 6,000 yards. I'm trying to win football games. I think that's very, very important to look out for. With that ramp time, I am going to pick Tampa Bay to win the game. I am picking Dallas to cover. I believe, at least the spread I laid down, it was 7.5 point. Tampa's 7.5 point favorites. Shout out to BUSR. But I am picking Tampa Bay to win the game outright. I think a lot of points are going to be scored relative for an NFL game, where you'll see a 34-31 type outcome. I think you'll see a lot more offensive productivity in the second half, but I do think there is going to be some delay. Remember, Ezekiel Elliott did not play in the preseason as well. So, timing, all of those types of things. But I'm not going to be discouraged because I do have the Cowboys, A, winning the NFC East this season, and B, I have them going 11-6. Remember, there is a 17th game now, so I have the Cowboys going 11-6. I do have them losing the opener, but I have them going 11-6, making the playoffs, winning the NFC East. I think, Dak, NFL Comeback Player of the Year. I think there's going to be a few weeks to get it ramped up, and also figuring out that second corner. But this defense is going to be better. I have faith in that. I have yet to see a bad Dan Quinn defense with him as the lead coordinator. And I think he has some of the personnel and the pieces to make it happen, starting with the new guy, Mr. Micah Parsons. So, guys, I appreciate everybody there. Drop your predictions below in terms of the score. And make sure you hit up busr.com/fanatic, NFL promo code NFL100FP. Put that in free play. Take advantage. All sports betting, you can take advantage for free play. But thank you to our sponsors. Go Cowboys.